On this episode of the Best of Bias Podcast, you got your boy Lydell Dinero coming at you live with some pop culture and sports topics from the last couple of weeks that y'all might have heard about, might not have heard about, but let's talk about it, shall we? You know what I'm saying? No long talking, let's get right to it. Sports, pop culture, cinema corner, plenty to talk about. I've seen Furiosa, so let's get right to it. No long talking. Where that theme song at? It's right here. You know what it is. Yeah.
It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to unite us. It's the best of bias. Your best of bias. Yeah, it's the best of bias.
What's up, everybody? Man, it's your boy, Lydell Dinero, and guess what time it is? You know what time it is when you see this face, you see this bear on top, you see Growly, you know what time it is. You know the episode of the Best of Bias Podcast, starring yours truly, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Lydell Dinero. I'm sorry no guest this week, but you gotta do what you gotta do, man. I gotta touch base with my people, and just because there's no guest here doesn't mean I ain't got something to relate to the peeps. You know what I'm saying? So welcome in episode 209. I need to start telling you guys what episode it is more often, just so y'all know where we at with it. You know what I'm saying? Ever since 2019, like I like to say, we've been pumping out pods every week as much as possible, as much as possible. I know I may miss some weeks, but I like to let you guys know when I'm going to miss a week. If it's your first time push and play. What we talk about here, it's the best of bias. I call it that because we bring everything to the table, no matter what it is. If you got a bias, you got something you want to talk about, bring it to the table. We'll talk about it. Sports, we'll talk about it. History, pop culture. We don't talk too much politics, but if you want to talk about it, that's your bias for the week. Bring it to the table. We'll talk about that too. Music, movies, comics, all that stuff, man. The motorcycle's back. I feel like a motorcycle circling the block over here. But anyways, let's get to it, baby. Let's see what we got first. First of all, yeah, I told you I was going on vacation. That's why the little delay for this pod is out, man. I just got back in town, visited V-Rons in San Diego, man. We got into some shenanigans. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you saw what we was doing out there. We started off with the Comic-Con Museum out there in San Diego. I told you I was gonna get closer and closer to that Comic-Con, trying to get in, trying to find ways, rubbing elbows with the people, let me know what's going on. I've been to LA Comic-Con, like I've been telling you all the time. I've gone to other little events, CollectCon, just stuff like that. But the big shabammy, you know what I'm saying? San Diego Comic-Con has been avoiding me. It's gonna get a little sweaty in here today, guys. It's really hot. I'm sorry. But I might be glossing a little bit before y'all. But yeah, the Comic-Con Museum was dope. I forgot exactly what park it was in. If you're from San Diego, if you know a lot about San Diego, you know that big ass national park they have with a whole bunch of museums in it. We pulled up, walked through the museum. It was hard as hell to find parking, especially during Labor Day weekend. But it was still cool. We showed up, showed out, found a parking spot after like 30 minutes. V-Rons was very what's the word? Dedicated to finding that parking spot. I wouldn't say that. Persistent. And we found one by the grace of God. You know what I'm saying? We found one. We were able to see the museum. Inside the museum was dope. It wasn't really what I expected, but I'm glad I went. It was a lot of historical facts about pop culture, which, of course, it's like the basis of this pod, but it's like a lot of reading. There's different levels. There's 3 levels to it. One was like a space and science fiction level where they told you about pop culture's relation to aerospace and just space in general, and how a lot of the pop culture world has come from that, like Alien, E.T., Star Wars, and their involvement with kind of like space and just flight. Then you go down to the bottom where they have the Marvel section and the costume section, where they have like a space dedicated to Stan Lee, a lot of his early comics, a lot of costumes that were used in filming for like DC and all different kind of movies. Superman, Star-Lord, like you see the outfits on TV and stuff, and you think it's super high tech. A lot of the times it may be CGI, but once you get up close and actually are able to touch the costumes, it's like, damn, this is really creative. It kind of tricks your eye, the way that's designed and it's put together. It was pretty dope. And then we got down to me and V-Ron's made our own comic. You know what I'm saying? We're able to jump on there with the Avengers, be front row in our own comic book. That was kind of interesting as well. Just kind of seeing the glitz and glamour and just seeing the representation in San Diego of the Comic-Con event. It was pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? And also, I was able to go out there and go to a Padres game at Petco Park. They're playing New York. Juan Soto was making his return to the Padres, or I don't know if it's his first time playing there, probably not, since being a Yankee, but I was able to experience him and how the fans felt about him since being traded to, or I don't know if it was trade or it was a transaction offseason, maybe. Yeah, I think it was an offseason transaction. But him going over to the Yankees, him being back and getting booed because, he kind of ingratiated himself with the San Diego fans, him and Tatis, and just kind of like the camaraderie that the San Diego as a town or a city had with him, and him just jumping ship and going to New York kind of left a sour taste in their mouth. And we saw it in the during the game. People were booing. He didn't do too well. The Yankees doing great. I don't have the record right in front of me, but they're doing great in the American League, like number one in the standings right now. But the game that we went to particularly, they didn't do too well. And San Diego the Padres were able to beat them. I think it was like 5-1, something like that, 5-1 or maybe 5-2 at the most. Aaron Judge didn't do too well. But yeah, it was still cool seeing the atmosphere of the park, being able to see big buildings and then being able to watch the games from the top of the buildings. If you had like a apartment up there, like a condo, you can see games for free, concerts for free. So that's always cool. Just experiencing it, man. I haven't been to a baseball game in years, and to experience that with V-Rons was dope. And then we got to go to Pogo de Chao, you know what I'm saying? All you can eat Brazilian steakhouse where they keep bringing the meats to you. So it was all a good time just to experience that stuff out there. Did a little walking around, saw some comic book shops, got some comics, got me some Moon Knight comics to read, and just to bring back, you know how I do it. You travel and check out the local collectible shops, see what I can find, souvenirs and stuff. Just kind of kicked it. So now I'm back in town, ready for another episode with y'all. Try to pump one out last week. Hope y'all watched that episode. Episode 208 is out right now on YouTube. Go check that out, like, subscribe, all that jazz. AKA is doing a great job, wonderful job. It's like 200 videos there, and I'm pretty sure all the videos there he's put together and edited and thrown up there for us, or I've thrown it up, but he's put them all together. So he's been working adamantly, throwing up videos for y'all who don't actually listen to the pod on wherever you find your favorite podcast platform, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, Apple Podcasts, what is it, Spotify, Anchor. Like Anchor is Spotify now, but YouTube as well. So the YouTube is a big part of how you get this podcast, especially for the people who don't listen audio and just want to watch and see what's going on with me. Thank you everybody for always liking and subscribing. My usual watchers and listeners, this is for you. If you're listening now, give a round of applause for yourself. Thank you for being a supporter and actually listening to these pods, because I do put a lot of work in each week trying to get these out to y'all. But if you don't, what I'm saying, just for click and play and listen to the beginning, if you skip around, pick parts of the pod, I ain't mad at you either. Just as long as you click and play and are able to give your boy a little recognition for what he tries to do for the pop culture public, for the general listening public. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do. But yeah, let's get right into it, man. Playoffs are live and well. We're down to the Western Conference and Eastern Conference finals since we last talked. The Celtics were probably actually just like walking their way to the finals already by the time we talked. We were probably up 3-0 on the Pacers in the Eastern Conference finals, but the Western Conference finals was a little bit more tricky. Not much. We saw Dallas take care of OKC. We talked about the Minnesota Timberwolves beating the defending champions Denver Nuggets. So we kind of just previewed a little bit on the Eastern and Western Conference finals. Eastern Conference finals the Eastern Conference finals, we didn't really give too much of a prediction on, because we already kind of knew the Celtics were going to walk, especially after Halliburton and everybody else got hurt on the team. And well, not everybody else. I think it was just Halliburton, but which was a big factor on the team, especially trying to come down from 3-0. It was just tough. So we kind of knew that was a foregone conclusion. The Celtics' whole run to the playoffs, or through the playoffs to the finals, have been kind of I wouldn't say cakewalk, but everybody they played or played against played somebody who's been injured and got, it was a cakewalk to get to where they needed to be. I think the first round the Celtics played the Cavaliers, and they lost Donovan Mitchell in the first round. So that was bad. Or no, that was second round, because I think the Cavaliers played the Magic first round. Who did the Celtics play first round? They played the Bucks, I believe. And then the Bucks didn't have anybody. That was New York. Who the fuck did this Celtics play first round? Who was the 8 seed? It wasn't Chicago, was it, that made it out? Was it Chicago? But anyways, anybody they played the first round, that's how bad they were. I don't even remember who it was. And then they beat the Cavaliers second round. I think Garland was out a couple of games, or no, it was Karis LeVert and Donovan Mitchell were out. And then the next round after that, they ended up playing the Pacers, who only won their series because they played against a New York team that had 5 starters out. And their starter Jalen Brunson got hurt the last game, and I think the Knicks made it past Philadelphia. Philadelphia was only able to only lost because Embiid got hurt. His knee wasn't 100%, and you can also argue that the Pacers only beat the Bucks because Giannis and Dame Lillard got hurt. So there's a lot of injuries on the Eastern Conference side that helped the Celtics get to where they are now. It's not really the path you would want to see from a team that actually needs to prove it. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been to the Eastern Conference Finals, like the last 3 out of 4 years, if not the last 4 years. So for them to get there as easily as they did, I think that puts even more pressure on them to have to win the finals. You know what I mean? Because they've been to the finals, lost to the Warriors, been to the finals. They can't go out there and lose again. First of all, last year losing to the Heat was pretty bad, especially in the fashion they did. Even though they almost did come back from 3-0, that was bad. And for them to go and walk through the Eastern Conference this year and possibly lose in the finals was terrible. Though they lost Porzingis has been out for a couple of series now, so he may be able to come back and actually be healthy. But that starting 5 against Dallas is starting 5. I'll talk about that series in a little bit. They should be able to do their thing. They got a whole bunch of defensive players as far as Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday. I think Derek White can hold his own. Even though Tatum is not the best defender, he's still a big body, 6'10". And then you got, I don't know who they're starting at center. I think Hauser or something. Are they starting Hauser? But still got size. But if Porzingis is actually able to start, even if he has to sit out one game, he's still going to be a big contribution to the series. But we'll see what happens when they do match up against Dallas. I'll get into the matchup and predictions in a second. But on the other side, the Western Conference Finals, Minnesota was actually put to bed early. I want to say I'm happy because all right. My feelings about the Minnesota Timberwolves are kind of obviously biased. This is what it's called, the best of bias anyway, so I can speak my heart on this situation. It's just the fact that they're so put up on a pedestal and, whoever wins the series against the Nuggets and with the Nuggets in Minnesota is going to win the championship. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think personally, after we beat them last year in the first round, Tim Connolly, their president of basketball operations, who was 2 years ago our president of basketball operations, molded this team around beating the Denver Nuggets just to prove that Tim Connolly was actually the person that was the orchestrator behind the Nuggets, and he can tear down the team because he's the one that built it type shit. I feel like he was so caught up on that they didn't really think about the other rounds. Of course, they look good against us. Well, they look good against the Suns. They swept the Suns. Suns were an upstart team that didn't really have any defense to begin with. So a defensive team going up against a team that's all offense, just a little bit of offense, and what Anthony Edwards was able to give them, and what Karl-Anthony Towns was probably able to do against the bigs and Rudy Gobert to do against the bigs of the Phoenix Suns probably wasn't that hard of a test. But then when it comes down to playing us, even during the regular season, their pride and joy was beating us and having those twin towers to stop Jokic, having those bigger guards to stop Jamal Murray, make him tired. And then if anybody else has a bad series like they did, then it'll be just kind of tough for us to win. That only works against us. When you have dynamic scorers like Luka and Kyrie that play guard, that big man lineup isn't going to really work because Luka is a big guard, 6'8". Kyrie has one of the best handles you ever seen in the NBA, so he's going to be able to get around McDaniels. He's going to get around Alexander Walker. Like, they can't guard him. They can put their hands on Jamal Murray and do all this shit because he's not really necessarily getting by them. He's trying to shake them and step back and make tough shots over him. Kyrie's gonna get by you and draw the foul over you, overcompensating and try to make up for that. And it got exposed. Excuse me, they're gone now, so it got exposed. As far as the bigs, they got exposed too. And you know, the Dallas Mavericks had three bigs to throw at the two bigs that they had and exposed their weaknesses as well. Gafford, PJ Washington, and Derek Lively, all being 6'10" and above, and they actual big men, power forward types, actually able to move around. Karl Anthony Towns actually able to score and move around Rudy Gobert, and having the threat of bringing Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns out upon like beyond the three-point line, excuse me, with Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic being able to get anywhere with the ball and drawing fouls it was too much for him. And I knew it was going to happen. Anthony Edwards is amazing, but he can only do so much. You know what I'm saying? All that desperation scoring, it works. Again, it works against the Nuggets when we have players that aren't going to really contribute. We don't have any big men to spell Jokic if he's tired. If you don't have anybody else to make shots when Jamal Murray's been, you know what I'm saying? We've been injured and tired, but you got a strong team that's coming out that has all the youth in the world, has all the skill in the world, and is able to get around. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be the best defensive lineup in the NBA, but the Nuggets took you 7 games, and then you expect that not to be exposing everybody else that can score buckets. Luka and Kyrie gave you 33 damn near a game in this series. Gentleman sweep. You know what I'm saying? Every game you can do nothing with that. You can score back those desperation threes. You know what I'm saying? McDaniels can live at the three-point line. Nasri can live at the three-point line shooting those desperation threes. But when you have somebody that can get to the rim on your defense consistently, no matter how many threes you make to try to stick around, in that last 4 minutes, them boys are gonna get you buckets no matter what. You better score every drive down, and those threes from half court that, you know, Anthony Edwards was trying to throw up to keep up. If your team's getting in foul trouble and getting tired from playing a whole bunch of defense every drive or every series down the court, it's going to be tough for them to have the energy to try to score, especially Karl Anthony Towns. Horrible three-point percentage in this series. Is shooting like, you know what I'm saying, God in the last series against the Nuggets, but in this series he can't hit the side of a barn with a three-pointer. And then the game that he actually does do well was an elimination game. Of course, he plays his best he can in the game where if they lose, they get eliminated, but in this other closeout game where it gave them hope, just like the Lakers got hope after the Nuggets. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. I'm just kidding. These baby Lakers, these Minnesota Timberwolves. I forgot that the Lakers played in Minneapolis, so that's why y'all was talking to us Nuggets fans like y'all played for the Timberwolves as well. Y'all still got a little bit of Minnesota in y'all. Y'all jumped a little bit on that bandwagon too, man. Yeah, I was just so upset when we lost to Minnesota in Game 7 after being up 20, and then all the influx of Lakers fans coming in and acting like their team won. Like, bro, we swept y'all the year before, and gentlemen swept y'all a year after. You're not on Minnesota. Minnesota got gentlemen swept in the Western Conference Finals. They ain't gonna win a championship. This was their year. This is their attempts. You know what I'm saying? They're probably gonna get rid of Karl Anthony Towns, you know what I'm saying, or demoralize them the whole offseason, calling it his fault that they lost. Rudy Gobert already looked like he didn't deserve Defensive Player of the Year. Draymond Green's gonna continue to ridicule him in the media, like nationally, and everybody's gonna look at that playoff run and be like, okay, bro, maybe you're not that good. Maybe we do need to break up this Twin Towers lineup. It was good to beat the Nuggets, but overall, it's not going to get us past anybody else. You know what I mean? And then the Nuggets are just going to get a big this year to back up Jokic and be able to counter that, because they're going to see that, you know, the league is probably going to try to cancel out Jokic by going and get 2 or 3 big men to throw at him. But still, we're going to evolve and we're going to get better. But let me not go off on a Nuggets tangent, but as far as this, you know, Anthony Edwards and Minnesota Timberwolves and everybody else, they're going to do some reconstructing. But again, you know, all these young teams, it's their chance this year. They can't expect to be back next year. Everybody's going to do some retooling. Those Grizzlies is going to be back. Them Kings is going to be back after they get over those injuries. So these young teams, OKC, Minnesota Timberwolves, you know what I'm saying? This was the year to get that done, because those teams is coming back too. And I'm sure the Nuggets, the Suns, Lakers, Clippers, everybody's retooling. So as those teams get retooled, you already saw what they did in the standings this year. They're making pushes being brand new. So as they get a little bit more weathered together, you know what Dallas is doing this year. I don't know about the East, man. The East is always on some bullshit. They're always talking about getting stars and never really get them, and then they just do weird shit. So everybody knows the West is where it's at. So we're going to see what happens. But Dallas going against the Celtics, again, I don't know how it's going to feel, because, again, Dallas was battle tested. They went OKC, the number 1 seed, and they went the Clippers that had all the all-stars that they needed, all the vets that they can handle. And then they went against the mighty Minnesota Timberwolves with the #1 defense in the NBA. So I don't know what else there is for Dallas to prove. I think they're battle tested and they're ready for the finals. The Celtics, I feel like they had a cakewalk through the East and they haven't played anybody in the West, obviously. So I feel like they have a lot to live up to. And I think, again, with that defensive roster, I think they should match up pretty well. Drew Holiday probably on Kyrie. I would put Jaylen Brown on Luka. I would probably, just let Derek White run around with Derek Jones. Then you're gonna have to put Jason Tatum probably is on PJ Washington, and then you got center on center Derek Lively if he starts against Hauser. I think he is. I think Gafford comes off the bench, so I think that'll be cool. My predictions. I think, it's gonna be a good series, man. I'm actually excited to see this starting Thursday. Who do I think is gonna win this shit, bro? Me personally, I want Dallas to win. I love the storylines in this one. Kyrie coming back to Celtics where they shunned him off, him stepping on the logo, doing sage around the arena. Everybody just hating on him. The transformation of Kyrie Irving, just everybody hating on him last year and him just kind of coming back and just being humble about him and what Luka are doing. Everybody thought that him and Luka being on the same team wasn't going to work. I'm just starting to realize what everybody's saying about the media heads now, man. I hope I'm not becoming one of them with my opinions, but it's like everything that people are saying, it changes week to week and it can't be so it's crazy how it's so far from what they said before. Oh yeah, Minnesota, Anthony Edwards is the face of the league. Oh no, now Luka's the best player ever. Oh no, now Jokic is the best player ever. No, now Jokic don't deserve it. Weekly, daily. It's just nuts. So now I can see how the players can get super upset about this stuff. It's just like, you guys are so fickle, but it's whatever meets your content, whatever helps you guys get views and clicks. We're just going to talk shit about these people like they're not regular people. So I feel like sometimes Kyrie did, I did on here sometimes kind of call Kyrie names about how he was kind of being a little ignorant sometimes, a little bit I know everything type, kind of standoffish. But then again, I can't really blame them because sometimes that media shit is kind of annoying. Though you do get paid millions of dollars, some of the mental stress that media and those questionings and then there's the organization stuff that they make you do can kind of be overwhelming. Disturb your peace as a person. Disturbing your peace as a person kind of directly reflects on how you play on the court, and then how that reflects just fucks with your mental even more. Do you want to do this anymore? So it's all like a cycle that needs to run smoothly for people to be able to just function. You know what I mean? And I feel like Kyrie has found his piece. Whatever he did to find that piece, I think he's doing it well. I think the media has changed their narrative on him, and especially if he wins the championship, that'll be amazing. And Luka's whole story arc, and I always thought it was time for Luka, man. I love Jokic. I stand with Jokic. I think he's great, but one of the people behind Jokic that is amazing as well. There's a couple of people, but after the Giannis stuff, after the Jokic stuff, there's still that Luka's coming, Shai's coming, Tatum's coming, all those younger players that are next to take the reins. I think out of all of them, Luka is the most ready to do so, and how he's performed the last couple of years, just kind of leading up to this finals now, is just proving that, and he deserves it, man. I mean, to win a ring early would be the best for his career. It's like 25 now, so to win a ring now and just go ahead, and even if he never wins another ring, just the stuff that he's doing year by year is just going to get put up on this level of not being able to touch. I think he's got, what was it, 450 points, 150 rebounds, and 150 assists, something crazy like that. He was the only person to do that this year in the NBA. Last year was Jokic. Just a select few people that have been able to put up the numbers that he's been putting up this year in the playoffs. And again, I think this is year. He's been a pro since he's been like 16. So 9 years being a pro. How many every years he's been in the NBA doing what he's doing at his level. Yeah, he deserves it, man. And next year, I wouldn't be surprised if he won MVP. I wouldn't be surprised if he won Finals MVP. I wouldn't be surprised if Kyrie won it either. But I think humbly, he's been wanting. He's going to have won his second ring. He just wants to be able to bring this program this organization a ring, and he would humbly be the sidekick of Luka Doncic, but Luka Doncic looks up to Kyrie, I feel like, in a way that he won't stand alone in that acknowledgement. He will gladly share that spotlight with Kyrie, and everybody's going to see. It's like, even if Luka does get that MVP. Everybody's going to see what Kyrie has been doing. We've seen it the last couple of years. As he's been in Dallas, 15-1 in closeout games in his career. So we know what he does in the playoffs. But to help Luka get over that curve and reach that next echelon in his career, while bringing back and resurrecting Kyrie's career, I think it's good for everybody there. As far as the Celtics, man, I don't know what's going to happen. They need to win again, or else I feel like they're going to blow that up. A big five has never really been seen. I don't think it's been talked about enough as far as them putting together a five-team all-star roster. Derek White, I guess, is just now coming to his own, but Jrue Holiday, Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, Tatum, yeah, those are four basically all-stars with potential of being superstars. I don't know if Jrue Holiday or Porzingis will ever reach superstar status, but they're right up under there as top echelon stars who can get buckets. We've seen it all year. So I don't feel like that's being talked about enough. Plus the fact that they cakewalked to the finals. I'm sorry, Sean. I'm sorry, Kenny, but y'all run has been really easy, though y'all probably should have won one of the last couple of years. And it's about time that you guys actually have an easy ride and actually get over the hump. But we're going to see, man. You guys should win out there, the Celtics. As far as talent-wise goes, and I just feel like, star power and the will to win and just the gusto. I think that all goes with Dallas. So that's my prediction. I think Dallas will win it. A lot of people are going for Dallas just because they don't want the Celtics to win their 18th ring, and I understand that, or 18th ring, I guess. Nobody on the team is going to win 18 rings, but as an organization, 18th banner, I should say, especially Lakers fans, which I can give a damn about. Hey, I don't want to become a Lakers enemy, but as long as y'all hating on us, I'm gonna have to fight fire with fire. I'm sorry. When it comes to my sports, I don't shoot low. If we gonna talk shit, y'all can talk about 17 championships and all that shit. That's cool. We got 16 more to get, and if we get 16 more before y'all get y'all next one, I'll be happy. But I don't know if we're gonna get 16, but maybe y'all should give a couple of those back to Minnesota then, since y'all want to. No? Okay, then stop talking. Anyways, let's move on. I got, again, Thursdays when the finals start. Again, I'm picking Dallas. How many games? Let's pick Dallas in 6. Let me pick Dallas in 6. Can I do that? That's my prediction. We'll see what happens. Shout out Luka. Shout out Kyrie. Shout out everybody in the game. Congratulations. It's a big moment, and I'm excited for everybody involved. What we got? JJ Redick to the Lakers. So there's a lot of stuff happening in the offseason, sticking with the NBA. A lot of rumors out there, a lot of stuff that may happen, maybe happen. But rumors are getting loud. Supposedly Lakers, we know Lakers fired Darvin Ham after losing to the Nuggets. You're welcome, Lakers. But now they're looking for the new head coach. People are saying that it may be, what's his name? Sam Cassell, who's sitting on the bench as assistant coach for the Celtics. A lot of people are thinking it's JJ Redick. They've denied it. Clutch and LeBron have said they never talked to JJ about it, but they have a podcast together, which is weird. Me personally, I think JJ Redick would be great as a coach. I just hope that him being LeBron's friend and business partner won't interfere in decisions they make as coaches. I do see they want Rondo to be on the coaching staff as well. We'll see what happens, man. But I did see, I don't know if it was Shams who reported. I don't know if it was a fake report or it hasn't been announced yet officially. Maybe a Monday, maybe after the finals. Who knows? But JJ Redick, they did say, accepted the job as Lakers coach. That's going to be really interesting to see. They also, I did hear that the Pelicans pick that they traded, the pick that they owed the Pelicans for trading for Anthony Davis, I think that Pelicans are going to defer that. This isn't the strongest of a draft class. So I think they're going to wait until next year to get next year's first round pick if the Lakers are bad or whatever. Giving the Lakers the 17th pick and the 42nd pick in the first round. People are surmising that they're probably going to take LeBron or Baby Bron. Bronny is his name. Either at 42 or 17. I don't think they should take him at 17. They do need probably a backup quality big or somebody that's what I would take, actually, a backup quality big that could help them out, just dispel Anthony Davis or play alongside Anthony Davis and kind of just be that Rudy Gobert to his Karl Anthony Towns, even though I don't want to compare them as players because I think AD is way more of a dog than Karl Anthony Towns. But we'll see what they do there. But it should be interesting, man. Bronny has been doing well in the draft combine. Again, we saw that he withdrew from USC and declared for the draft, keeping his eligibility open to probably go back to school. And everybody thought he was actually going to go back to school just because based on his experience and The fuck? Sorry, people are riding by on motorcycles today. Is it motorcycle day? I don't understand. But yeah, we'll see though, because I think he should have went back to Oregon and played one more year in college, and then his draft stock would have went up. But I think this is the best year and best opportunity for him to actually play for the Lakers with his dad. And I think that's what he ultimately wants to do. I think that's what his dad wants to happen. I think that's what Clutch wants to happen, because I think he only worked out for two teams, though he wanted though hella teams wanted to schedule like workouts and talk to him and stuff like that, but he only worked out for two teams, and I think it was the Lakers and the Suns, if I'm not mistaken. Um, the Suns and Matt Ishbia, the owner, do want to, grab LeBron James in free agency and try to kind of lure him there by the prospect of him drafting Bronny to the Phoenix Suns, try to get them both in a package deal. LeBron think he declined his player option for the Lakers, so he's actually a free agent now. So other teams can offer him money. But I think since that draft pick thing happened with the Pelicans, giving them that 17th overall pick, and for the fact that I think he's eligible to make $53 million if he extends his contract this year. And then if he goes to Phoenix, you'd have to play for the vet minimum, which is probably like $2 million or some shit like that. That's leaving like $51 million on the table. And I don't know if anybody would want to do that, even if it means playing with your son. I think the Lakers probably either can package those, two picks to get Bronny, or just sit back and be able to pick him at 42, or even pick him at 17 if they really want him to secure him, and just make sure no team is like actually fucking up and just trying to do some shit just to get under people's skin and draft Bronny to get under LeBron's skin. I don't think they would do that. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. He did perform perform well. He's gonna be in shape and ready to play, because you know who his dad is. His dad has been in shape his whole career, workout monster. So they're gonna definitely have Bronny in the gym. But to see him go out there amongst his peers and actually perform well enough to people think he'll get drafted in the first round, or just to prove that he can play in the NBA and give the Lakers confidence to draft him in the first round, that's cool. We know that the Lakers aren't going to get Ty Lue because he did extend with the Clippers. Clippers are trying to do big things out there in LA. New stadium in Long Beach. They re-upped on Kyrie. Paul George, they didn't re-up on. I think Paul George is looking at Philadelphia. But we're going to see what happens with Paul George. But they did re-up with Kawhi. Kawhi is in the future for them. But yeah, I think the deal, what was the deal? 5 years, $70 million for an extension for Ty Lue. So he's staying with the Clippers. So that probably even furthers the idea of JJ Redick going there, starting off his career there. But we'll see. We'll see what JJ Redick does. Maybe he can, we hear him every day on TV. Kind of, there goes those motorcycles again. What is going on? I really want to take a look, but it's just crazy that they just think they can just keep driving by. What's going on? Yeah. Sorry about that. I apologize. Hopefully that's the last time these motherfuckers come by. But yeah, that is all in the NBA world. Coaching changes, NBA draft coming up, I believe, at the end of June. Yeah, probably after the finals, I would expect. But interesting times, man. Finals, Dallas Celtics. WNBA, man, I just got to throw this in there. Media is crazy right now. Everybody thinks that the WNBA, or the W, excuse me, hates Caitlin Clark. I don't want to add to that narrative, but it's just, I don't know. I think the medium's putting too much on it. I guess narratives are what bring eyes, but they're making it seem like everybody hates Caitlin. They're actually out there trying to attack her, which brings the opposite point of view, which are like, oh, you're biting the head and that feeds you. You only got chartered flights. You only have people there because of Caitlin Clark type shit. And it's just, again, pinning people against each other. It is nuts, because me personally, I feel like Sabrina was better than Caitlin Clark, and I feel like transitioned into the NBA or the WNBA better, just because whole Caitlin Clark, I just think she has I don't think she has the worst attitude, but I just think she has a bad attitude, and it's not going to paint a good light on her, and especially if she thinks people hate her already. I just think that some of her antics are going to cause people to go at her, and then after they do go at her, they're going to paint it as, oh, everybody hates Caitlin Clark. But then again, I talked about it last time. People paint her, how she plays the game, as passionate. And if it was a man, then everybody would be like, okay with it. No, I don't think so. I think if it was, I don't want to say Dylan Brooks, because she hasn't done anything dirty and she's way better than Dylan Brooks as a prospect. But it's just like, if Dylan Brooks did some of the shit that she was doing, they would hate him for it and crucify him for it. But it's Caitlin Clark, the savior of the WNBA, so I feel like it doesn't be looked at as that. It looked as Steph Curry out there being picked on by the NBA. I don't think that happens. I think you're not really on the court, so you don't really get the looks, the words, the shit talking on the court. I get it. People don't have as high as profile as Caitlin Clark, so when they go back and retaliate, it's the worst thing in the world. There is some flopping going on a lot of the times, I will say, starting when that with that screen that Alyssa Thomas got on her, tried to screen Caitlin Clark. She fell, twisted her ankle, and fell into the screen. Everybody's like, "Oh, you tried to kill her with the screen." And then you had her against the girl with Caitlin Clark, or against the girl with the Chicago Sky. I think she said, I don't know. I'm not going to infer that she said something to the girl and the girl just kind of ran over. But you saw what Jokic did to the Morris twin when he ran over and whiplashed him in the back, hit him in the back type shit. If you go and look at this one, it looked like, okay, yeah, she did go run and kind of give her a shoulder in the back type shit, but she embellished and fell like she ran and did the Jokic push in the back, which caused a flagrant. She didn't get ejected like Alyssa Thomas did when she fouled Angel Reese. But it then again was like, oh, that was she's getting attacked on the court. It's becoming unsafe for her. It's like, what, bro? Yeah, it's just bringing up a lot of racial shit because everybody hates on Angel Reese with her attitude and her antics and shit. But then when it comes to Caitlin Clark, everybody's defending her antics and stuff like that when it comes to it. Because then again, Alyssa Thomas threw her on the ground and her head almost hit the ground type shit. And then everybody was like, yeah, she probably deserved it. And then at the stand, she was like, yeah, I like that. The rookie treatment. They're going to come in and be hard on us rookies, especially the ones that got a whole bunch of light. I don't think she said all this, but especially the ones that got a bunch of notoriety in college. They're going to come in here and show y'all it's not sweet. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it's going to be, no matter what. So Caitlin Clark, again, I wish you the best. I just feel like in order for change to happen, she kind of has to change too, but I guess not. She's getting millions of dollars. Everybody loves her. The endorsement deals are there. The league loves her. So whatever she did in college, I guess she can do it in the W2. But I feel like when it comes to repercussions and these girls and these ladies in the W's, like, I'm not going for it. You're not gonna be calling me no bitch. You're not gonna be the referees. You can't call them motherfuckers to their face. I get it. Words are words, but you kind of have to just because you're a pro doesn't mean you don't be respectful. You won't go call your coach a stupid motherfucker. You know what's gonna happen from that, right? You don't go call the commissioner of the league a stupid motherfucker. You wouldn't do that, right? Would you call another player a stupid motherfucker without expecting retaliation from them? No, I wouldn't. So if you're gonna go up to a ref and say that's a stupid fucking call, bitch, or you're not calling her a bitch, like fuck you. If you're berating the referee, you can be like, come on, that wasn't a foul. I get it. That's respectful. What the fuck? That's stupid. That's a stupid ass fucking call. That's probably going to get you a technical and it's warranted. Call me soft if you want. I don't know if it should give you like a double tech for words, but you're going to get a warning. And then if you keep cussing at me, you're going to get a technical. Call it soft or not. But at a certain point, come on, it can't be everybody else. The media is giving her justice and trying to make it seem like it's everybody else. But you read lips, you see the stuff that happens with the referees, you saw the stuff that happened in college. It can't just be always poor me. If it's gonna be poor me every time and you're gonna be the sympathetic figure, I get it. But at some point, you're either gonna have to fight back for yourself. If this is all unwarranted and if you're not doing shit to nobody and it's all unwarranted, you should fight back. Because you should stand up for yourself and fight back because you'll see and get more flagrants on these players because they're coming at you for no reason. But if you do something, that's when I can see you flopping, acting like these players are going to kill you because, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing that I could have did to warrant this kind of behavior. No, bro. I get talking shit. Nobody should put their hands on you for talking shit. No, not at all. But if you... I don't know. Dribble, push off, fucking bitch. Rebound, get out of here, bitch. There's gonna be people. I don't know. It's not the NFL because you can't put your hands on person. People will retaliate by hitting them. But you're gonna see some hip checks on screens. You're gonna see some hard grabs on offensive drives. And I get it. She's using it to her advantage, and sometimes she flops, but sometimes she's gonna feel it. So my advice: play the game straight up, and they will respect you for it. My example, Sabrina. She came in with all these expectations. She met the expectations. She did what she was supposed to do. I mean, I get it. The hype wasn't as big as Caitlin Clark. I mean, she wasn't Steph Curry, but she's doing it the right way. Um, that's why I think it's good for Sabrina as well, because they can juxtapose the two. They can see about how people are receiving Caitlin Clark, and then they can go on other spectrum and see how they're receiving Sabrina Ionescu, and we can just compare it and just see, like, come on now, give more respect to this girl and everybody else too. Asia Wilson, all the people that are stand up for the league, Tarasis, everybody that speaks for the league and has been representing the league for a long time. Like, bring light to these people too. You know what I'm saying? Though we love Caitlin Clark and we respect everything she's bringing to the game and doing for the league, it's like, without the inclusion of everybody, especially in the media, this shit's going to keep happening. Though she may be having some attitude issues, this is all unwarranted. But the media, come on now. If you keep putting this target on her back, it's going to keep getting worse. Let's help her. Let's help her get ingratiated. She's on one of the worst teams in the league. You know what I'm saying? These teams are going to be better already. So put her in a position to succeed and make her the lovable person that's trying to win and not the person that everybody wants to keep down based on, you know what I'm saying, interactions, you know. Anyways, moving on. Oh, I definitely got too far without saying this in our sports section. RIP to the great Bill Walton. RIP to the Bay Area legend and legend in general, Drew Gordon. Bill Walton, I know I should kind of separate these to give them a little bit more respect that they deserve. Bill Walton definitely was an integral part in my, I wouldn't say everyday life, but my every year life. Me being a Pac-12 fan, Oregon. He's really, of course, if you didn't know, he was an NBA legend, two-time champion. I think he's won MVP, one of the best passers. I hear it all the time. One of the best passers ever to be in the NBA. Big man, of course. Everybody puts Jokic up there with him just for the skill set, like rebounding and passing, and just he was on the Celtics and the Blazers, just holding it down. And his post playing career, because you know I didn't really watch much of him. I'm a little bit younger. Just him being a commentator, speaking on the sidelines for the Pac-12 games, for the Pac-12 tournament, his quirkiness, how he just brought light to everybody, how he used to go in on his partner all the time, and just how much he loved the Pac-12 and just represented Pac-12 to the fullest. Went to UCLA. He was just a great guy. Fuck cancer, man. Cancer is just terrible, man. One of these days, I hope he just kind of figure out ways to just kick cancer's ass and just get rid of it for good and just stop just taking people's lives, especially so young. He was in his 70s, but still 71 is he still had a lot of life to live, a lot of love to give. And he spread love every year when he used to sit on the table and call these games, man. Brought another light to it. He's a hell of a dude, and we're all gonna miss him. Prayers out to his family. Shout out Bill Walton. Rest in peace, my guy. And then Drew Gordon, Bay Area legend, went to Midi. Aaron Gordon's older brother. For you guys that know, I'm a Nuggets fan. Aaron Gordon's an integral part of our team. Prayers out to him and his family, man. He's probably going through a rough time, man, after just losing in the Western Conference semis. And, you know, this has nothing compared to what losing the semis, because nothing else matters in regards to family, especially the death of a family member. He's probably going through it right now. His family probably going through it. Prayers out to him for sure. Drew Gordon himself, yeah, Midi. I heard about him, like basketball, you know, throughout the towns. I lived in Sunnyvale growing up. Went to school out there. So Midi was you know, around the corner out there in San Jose. Around San Jose-ish area. You always heard about Drew Gordon. You always heard about Aaron Gordon balling out there in San Jose. And then for them, he went to the league, I do believe. He was playing a whole bunch of sports out there at Midi, I believe. But I was a little bit younger than him. He was actually, no, we were the same age. So yeah, of course, it was around our time. Definitely Drew Gordon. I heard a lot about him in high school. Died in a car accident recently. So sad, man. Everybody out there, drive safe. I don't know exactly the details of it, but man, life comes at you fast and you never know when it's your time to go. Shouts out to the family. Shouts out to everybody out there, and prayers out, man. Play for the 76ers, I believe, but a super big part. Hold on one second. My bad, y'all. Super big part. And you know, the development of Aaron Gordon and just the life of Aaron Gordon in general. It was crazy. Just RIP to those guys. And Yeah, everything involved to their lives, man. Life, your lives, our lives. Again, life is so short. We never know when it's our time. So RIP to those guys that can go much further without um, kind of just letting you guys know what's going on with that. But back to, let's see, Bears to Hard Knocks. Yeah. So every year we do get a team that participates in Hard Knocks for the NFL. Um, yeah, we had last year, I forgot exactly what, I think it was Detroit. It's kind of weird because it always ends up being the hot team at the moment that actually gets to go out there and do it. This year, it is the Bears. We know what happened with the Bears. Sorry, guys, I am sweating my ass off right now. We know what happened with the Bears. They drafted Caleb Williams and got a bunch of people in the trade this year. They got, I don't know if it was trade. I think it might have been free agency, but I think they did trade. Keenan Allen is now a Chicago Bear. We know DJ Moore was there already from last year. Um, who else they got? They got DeAndre Swift in the backfield. They also have who else? Let's see. DeAndre Swift. I think they have Cole Kmet still. I think they got Gerald Everett from the Rams. So, whoo, excuse me, yeah. Woo, gotta take these little things off my head real quick. Ooh, ooh, ooh. My bad. But yeah. Um, But yeah, they're Hard Knocks on HBO. They're gonna film the off season. We're gonna see actually what goes on with them. The world loves Caleb Williams, so we're gonna see what happens. They got a bunch of characters. I know Keenan Allen's definitely a character. They got two tackles now, man. They got their linemen that they needed to succeed, protect Caleb. Got DeAndre Sweat, just like me. I'm DeAndre sweating right now. But they got them on the defense. Jalen Johnson, one of the well-known corners around the league. So it's gonna be an interesting season. We'll see what they have in store for us. I don't know. Another character that the media kind of likes to hate is Caleb Williams. So we're gonna see what happens with him, and we're gonna see if they are able to do a little something. Let me get here. Let me go get me some water and cool myself off. We'll do a brief commercial break and I'll be right back with y'all. It's the Best of Bias podcast. We'll jump into some pop culture and we'll do some cinema corner and get up out of here. But 1 second here. Your boys are sweating a little bit. We'll be right back. It's the Best of Bias podcast. Welcome back. Welcome back. Sorry about that brief little break there. Guys, I had to deal with some barking dogs and wipe myself off a little bit. Pause. Hey, we back. Let's talk about this pop culture. And again, Bears to Hard Knocks should be an interesting feat. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm really interested in the Hard Knocks anymore because the way they select, they used to pick the bad teams. They got new coaches, new players. The Bears do fall in that category, but the selection process is kind of weird. I don't really necessarily want to hear from the Bears. The Buccaneers won a long time ago with Jameis Winston. That was cool. I guess it should be an interesting one. Should be an interesting one, but I think they're gonna Bears gonna be one of those hype teams that everybody kind of just gets on this year, just like the Detroit last year, and just thinks that they're gonna be flashing the pan. The interesting thing that they're in the same division, so it's interesting that they're doing the same division 2 years in a row because I do believe it was Detroit last year. But anyway, moving on. Pop culture wise, we did hear that Nicki Minaj was arrested in Amsterdam for trying to cross the country lines with marijuana. This is another learning lesson. It doesn't matter who you are. We saw Brittany Griner get hemmed up for this too. We saw Nicki Minaj get hemmed up for it this time. Me personally, I think it's always kind of confusing when celebrities and stuff get jammed up at airports and crossing state lines because, first of all, why is it the celebrity that's trying to carry the stuff through? Do they think it's just because it's this person they won't check as thoroughly as a regular person? Or do the people that they hire or have around them to actually take these charges and cases and sneak things through, they don't want to put that on them because they know the penalty will be harsher for a person that's not as high profile as the celebrity? But yeah, Nicki Minaj got caught kind of crossed state lines with marijuana. I think they got the marijuana from Amsterdam and tried to cross state lines with it to take it to another country, which is a no-no. Yeah. It happened to her. We caught it on video, and she took an opportunity to try to use it as a way to say the country or somebody, the powers that be, are trying to stop down her tour and stop her from making money to further try to stop the reign of Nicki Minaj. So I'm kind of just, her enemies right now, Cardi B, and I don't know if she's beefing with Meg Thee Stallion or something like that. She might be. I think she is. Yeah, she put out a diss track to her recently. So she was trying to say on the live that, yes, these people are trying to get me arrested, trying to stop my shows out here. But again, man, you just gotta realize that you can't be taking American laws and trying to apply them to other countries because they don't give a damn. Obviously, they don't care who you are. It's just like chill out, man. If you need something taken across the border or taken from somebody, have somebody else do it and then pay to get them out of jail. Don't put it on yourself because once the payroll is in jail, how are you gonna get you out of jail? Just be a little bit smarter. Or if you're get to the country first and then try to find the marijuana while you're there. I'm sure they smoke marijuana somewhere there. I guess you just trust it because it's coming from Amsterdam. You don't want to be walking around saying I'm looking for drugs for Nicki Minaj or give her some bunk stuff that, she may not be comfortable with. But I mean, I get it. I've never performed on stage. The anxiety of it could be crazy. Some people may need a little weed to help them be the best that they can be. I can really understand that. But it's like, I don't know if it's risk or worth risking going to jail or missing out on the money that you were supposed to get from the shows. You know what I mean? And that's kind of interesting. And staying in legal affairs, you know how I don't really dabble in the political sphere. And I shouldn't be reporting on this because I'm always really hesitant to report on political stuff because they be saying shit. And at the same time, it really don't mean shit. But Donald Trump found guilty on 34 counts for the hush money New York case with Stormy Daniels. I guess in this case, he used political funds to pay Stormy Daniels hush money about their sexual interactions. I'm not too sure. I'm not too up on date, but supposedly he was found guilty on 34 counts. So I guess it's deeper than just hush money. They found a way to muster that into 34 accounts or 34 counts. But to me, it seems like, okay, he's found guilty and supposed to be waiting till June 11th for sentencing, but they're supposedly able to make him a candidate for president sooner than that. Uh, so that if he becomes president before they sentence him, can he just pardon himself? So it's just kind of like a lot of speculation. I feel like this has been going on for years. They've been saying Donald Trump did this and that and said that he's 100% guilty. And all this is me personally, I feel like people are just trying to do all this so he can't run for president. But a lot of the shit, if the regular person did it, they'd be in jail. So I think the first and foremost thing when somebody commits crime, they should have to face jail time. But at the minimum, he shouldn't be able to run for president. But all in all, it seems like he's still going to be able to run for president no matter what the crime is that he has done. And then it seems like once you become president, you can put people in place or just say yourself that, oh, yeah, I'm not going to jail and this is not going to happen to me because I can pardon myself. I can put the people in place to make the decisions to see if I'm guilty or not. I can pick the judges. I can pick the seats in the Senate. I mean, it's just a lot of crazy shit, but it just kind of seems like the rollout for an album shit. Like I think all it did was really give him more popularity amongst his peers. People that support him are going to keep saying that there's a smear campaign going around to further smear Donald Trump's name, just to help them win the election type shit, which I think just empowers him on his side rather than diminishes and not helps him run for president. Then supposedly, I guess when he got released, he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm just asking $1 from everybody that supports me to get this campaign running, so I can go ahead and start this presidential campaign or whatever like that." And of course, all his supporters, no matter how many of them, and just $1 from a million people. You know what I'm saying? That's $1 million. But don't let it be 32 million people that love him. It's $32 million. I know you guys are good at math, so I'm sure you guys know how that works. Yeah, it's just crazy. But anyways, I'm sure there's more shit to come from it. But again, I fell for the bait. I felt like since it was spread all over social media, something actually going to come from it. But I'm sure nothing's really going to come from it at all. But we'll see what happens when he goes to court. But in my eyes, a lot of times when the political stuff is kind of like this covering, putting the wool over sheep's eyes or putting the wool over my eyes type shit or whatever. It's like they make it seem like something's happening, but ultimately nothing's really happening. It's just a way to get these articles off. It's a way to get that content out. And ultimately, again, it seems like a rollout for his candidacy. So wild times we live in. We're gonna move right off of that into Drake. I know Drake has been kind of quiet now since that Kendrick Lamar and everything died down. So we haven't really heard much about Drake besides the BBL Jizzy song, and Not Like Us being played everywhere this summer, being the song of the summer. I guess we hear about Drake in that aspect, but it's been quiet. He put out a song with Sexy Red. I don't know exactly what it's called, and he actually rapped over the BBL Drizzy beat. Bitches love Drake. BBL bitches, bad bitches love Drake. BB. I don't know. He did something like that. But now I guess resurfaces, I guess the hate for Drake spilleth over. I mean, people are still on his helmet. Stuff is still coming out about Drake, not even coming from Kendrick Lamar. Now the fans are doing deep dives and finding out there's a bunch of reference tracks out there for a lot of the Drake's hit songs, and they're kind of just bringing Drake's writing to the forefront again, trying to say that he has writers and just kind of insinuating Drake isn't Drake, and to try to even more just kind of take him down off of what Kendrick Lamar has been saying. But a lot of these songs we did know, but a lot of these songs people did deny. People didn't really think that it was real. Some we did know, but Drake stans and Drake fans, and some we don't care. I would say we. If it sounded like we said we, I said they. I'm not a stan. I can't say that I'm not a Drake fan because I've been for a while. It's just when it comes down to writing songs, there's like a lot of people out there. It's kind of a myth in the hip hop game that there's not really collaborators when it comes to forming and making songs. It's just all one person or two people, whoever are in the song, just in the booth and in the studio, just coming and creating shit out of thin air. But a lot of times there is people that collaborate and help out with these people and do what's called reference tracks to help them get started. Me personally, again, I always kind of try to throw this in there. I used to write music a little bit myself, and it is really hard. It's like from the minute details of first line starting off your bars, just like has to hit just so you can have that second line, just rhyme with it and be a hitter as well. And you can just set up your bars that way. Sometimes you do need inspiration, especially the rate of these superstars are pumping out music, and like to have something different to say in each song, I feel like could be hard. You know what I'm saying? Not giving an excuse for it for the people that do their own shit and just kind of stack shit themselves and just put out quality content. Excuse me, all alone. I feel that for you as well, but there is collaborators in the game, believe it or not. To the extent, I don't really know how far the collaboration goes for how Drake does it, but we've been a lot of stuff's been surfacing. If you go on X right now, just links and links and links to songs that Drake has been given references to by top artists or writers in the game, and he just adapted it his way and just kind of made that song a hit. Starting with Vori. Vori was a popular artist. I don't exactly remember where he's from, but he was signed to Dream Chasers for a while before his little incident. But he was rocking for a while behind the scenes, and you can hear his voice in a lot. Him, who else is it? I keep forgetting the writer, her name that writes for like Travis Scott. Well, did some choruses, and of course I've probably done some chorus and bridge building, maybe even verse building for a lot of artists. I forgot her name. It's gonna mess with me right now. But anyways, Bori reference track did a reference track for Mob Ties. Look at these niggas. Have some help. Ready? It is what it is, and I got ties. That song. Void reference track that, Quentin Miller, the whole situation with Rico already happened. So we know he was helping Drake's camp do a reference tracks there for that song, but also for 10 bands, 50 bands, 100 bands, fucking man. There's a reference track that came out for Quentin Miller. Also doing that track for Drake, but you just saw that Drake put his own little spin on it, put his own little pronunciation on it, and it made it the track it is now. Of course, sometimes, when regular artists have these songs and these tracks, and they're not as deliverable as sometimes when the main artist that actually puts out the song gets it, especially Drake's delivery, his melodic timing is good. So when he took over a couple of these songs and made it his own, it just went up from there, and nobody could ever say anything. But hearing these reference tracks now give people cause to pause and kind of question, it's like, how much of these songs are actually Drake, or is he just getting reference tracks directly from people and switching out some words? And it just kind of gives that, because a lot of these are choruses. Well, Ratchet Happy Birthday, Party Next Door. Party Next Door, there's a lot of collaborations with Drake. I don't think this is the first time, or this would be surprising at all. A lot of the Caribbean stuff, I think the singing stuff, it does come from Party Next Door. Collaborations, I'm not saying he necessarily just wrote it himself. Maybe they collabed together. Party Next Door wrote it first, and then he just like, okay, you go ahead and do that. You know what I'm saying? Lil Yachty, Billboard type shit. That was one of my favorite songs on Her Loss. I think it was on Her Loss. But then you have Lil Yachty having the whole first verse basically him, and it sounds like a song that Lil Yachty would make, and that goes into the shit that Kendrick Lamar was saying. Like, I don't care about who you hang with. You're dressing like Lil Yachty, you making songs like Lil Yachty, and it just so happens that Lil Yachty wrote it. And you know Lil Yachty's been doing writing for people, City Girls, that song, even though it's not the best lyrical display, but just styles and just helping people create styles and rapping certain cadences that are attractive to audiences. He's good at that, you know what I'm saying? And there's a couple of more out there, but it's like, how do you guys feel about that? For one, just reference tracks in general, as far as artists helping other artists out. How do you feel about that for Drake, especially somebody that puts himself on a pedestal as being the number one lyrical rapper, number one rapper on, anybody want it, you know what I'm saying? I'll give it to you, pause, which is like lyrically saying that I can take down anyone, but at the same time, having all this evidence of having reference tracks and people that help you write. Even if it's the biggest track in the world, some of those tracks you'll probably never hear about. Well, I guess legally you do have to list them, producers, anybody that contributes on that one song. But I don't know. We're gonna see what happens, man. It's interesting because when I was growing up, all this stuff wasn't allowed. It really affected your MC status, or people just kind of like held it behind the scenes. It just seems like the music industry and the way that things are happening now, they're becoming way more transparent, which gives cause to pause for a lot of stuff and makes people question a lot of shit. Drake had a 20-year reign, and people are now starting to question everything. But shit, 20 years is a long time to go unquestioned. So it's interesting to see the change in tide. That's all I'm saying. Let's move into some video games, man. I don't really talk video games that much, but right now, I know everybody's anticipating NCAA, or excuse me, College Football 25 dropping July 15th, I believe, sometime in July. But until then, I know everybody's playing that Warzone. We just had season 4 drop on Warzone, I believe. I know a lot of people hate it. I know a lot of people play it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to throw my gamer tag out there. If you're trying to play with the boys, Lydell_Dinero 22, pause. If you're trying to play with your guys, I don't know how to say it. If you're trying to play with your boy online on Twitch, I'm there. You can look at that Lydell Dinero. I think all it is on Twitch. If you check that out, you can watch us play Warzone, Call of Duty all day. When we get to NCAA, we will be starting a franchise. 32 teams are available. You already know I'm about to be Oregon, so if you're okay with not being Oregon, I know I got a couple of friends also who are fans of football team, Michigan, Texas, Florida, Stanford or UCLA, Stanford. So if you want, it's a whole bunch of college teams. So you can pick from any one of those teams and join the franchise. We'll be doing recruiting. We'll be doing season games, championships. We're gonna treat this shit like I treat fantasy, man. We're trying to get down to the nitty gritty, get everybody playing. It's cross-platform, all kinds of shit. Probably gonna replace Madden, man. They say you can take your characters from NCAA and like upload them into Madden when you're doing seasons there. So it's going to get real. Let me not get too far away from Warzone, but once we do get that game out, we're going to be playing that a lot. You'll see it on Twitch. I'm trying to find people to join, so hit me up about that. But Warzone, hope y'all playing right now. Not new levels, but we got new metas, new guns, new characters, new skins. So I want to see everybody out there. Call of Duty, man, it's just one of those games where it's also cross-platform. I'm one of the people that are really grateful for cross-platform because I did have Xbox and Xbox One. Kind of was a Microsoft Xbox guy until most recently when PS5 came out. I finally made that crossover. So I had a lot of friends that I left back there on Xbox and had a lot of friends that I gained over here on PlayStation. So when they started being able to merge these people, merge PCs, we need to work on being able to get them in actual parties so you don't have to be in prox chat all game. But the fact that we're able to intermingle, and play together on these systems and on these games and upgrade together and work together, it's just really cool. I love the fact that gaming has come so far. We do need to have more gaming sections and segments on here. Again, Deshaun has been playing Tekken 6. I haven't gotten that yet, but NCAA, I keep calling it NCAA. They're trying to separate themselves from that. But College Football 25 is coming soon. We'll get on that. But again, if you're trying to watch or just follow me on or become a friend of mine on PlayStation, my PSN is Lydell_Dinero 22, and on Twitch is just Lydell Dinero. You'll see me on there streaming sometimes with the homies, P-Nate69, Damo Lee POV, D-Nice 22, little K Money, one of the newest members to the squad. So we're gonna see. We're gonna try to get the gaming platform popping a little bit more too. So don't be afraid to join us over there. Download Call of Duty Season 4. Maybe I'll see you out there on the battlefield. Just know if you got shot by Lydell_Dinero 22, that's me. Don't be afraid to join the squad as well. You know what I'm saying? We looking for more people to be on. We on all the time. We need quads. We need to get that shit going. What we got next? Let's see. Cinema Corner. Let's just visit Cinema Corner real quick. Vince Staples. I don't know if you guys seen the Vince Staples show on Netflix, but it got renewed for a season 2. We talked a little bit about that when it came out as I was watching it, as I was reviewing it. It was really good. It gave Atlanta feels, but in an LA way. Vince Staples, I think, has his own sense of comedy, has his own way of thinking. It really gives you an introspective view of him as an artist. He actually just dropped his last album. I say last because I think it's the last album he's actually going to put out for the record label, and then he's going to move on to other things. Again, you see that he's putting season 2 out of the Vince Staples show is doing well, and I think it's going to be well received and get plenty more seasons to go. So congratulations for that. If you haven't checked it out now, go check it out on Netflix right now. Give it some more spin. Just even prove it even more ready to be a season 2. Make this one of those franchises that we love and we learn to support Black business and our Black art and just stuff for us to, grow and get more opportunities. Netflix, you know what I'm saying? You pay a lot of money for nonsense to get it thrown up there. So I like the fact that you're reaching out to real people that are in touch with the culture, bringing comedy back. That people love. Like the Upshaws was a good start, but this is a whole nother level of comedy. Brings the younger generations out and just brings out younger actors that we know that are behind the scenes in different shows, but gives them a platform as well. It looks like they're very local too, so that's dope for a artist, that made it out, that's really wise, especially in the game of music, to go out there and use music as a platform to push himself into other markets. You saw him in the Acura commercials. You see him in Abbott Elementary. Now he has his own show. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he does clothing too. He's into fashion a lot too. So being able to diversify yourself as an artist is always a goal. And for him to actually go out there and do it and just be paving the way for other artists to do so as well, because I don't think the music game is ever going to change. It's just getting even more hard for artists to make money in the music game. So, take note, you know what I'm saying? Worry less about the beefs to Kendrick Lamar and Drake's and worry more about getting your publishing, worrying more about getting your money, and being able to be taken seriously to do other things. And I respect that from Vince Staples. And hey, man, salute, and I can't wait for season 2. What I'm watching right now, or what I have watched, Eric on Netflix as well. Netflix, if you want to promote us, because I'm throwing a lot of watches your way. But anyways, Eric on Netflix, Benedict Cumberbatch. You know him from Doctor Strange. He plays another role in this one that's really good, and it's like a lot of these British actors, when they're able to turn on that American accent, it's kind of interesting to see. You know what I'm saying? Just knowing these people to be British and just them just killing it with the American accent, be able to go in and out, especially when they're portraying people. Well, in this one in particular, he's a creator of a show, that puppet show, kind of similar to Sesame Street, but he's the head, I think he might be the head writer and puppet creator of the show, but he's kind of an asshole, not only to the people on the show, but his kids and family as well. And then it got to a point where he was being an asshole to his kid, and, he kind of had a moment where he pushed him away, and then the kid ends up not coming home. Presumably kidnapped, or ran away. We don't know yet. We go through the motions of him trying to not only better himself, but realize that he is kind of the cause of this stuff happening. And once he actually betters himself, stuff seems to become more revealing to him that what needs to be done in order to accomplish the main goal. And that's either finding his son or finding out what happens to him. You know what I mean? It's really cool. So it's a juxtaposition on a lot of shows that we watch. We see a lot of like kidnap murder mystery kind of shows, suspense kind of shows, but this one puts an interesting spin on it, where it's kind of comedy. It's kind of like, fuck, this guy is fucked up. Then it's you feel bad for him, but then at the same time, everybody in here is kind of fucked up. And do we really feel bad for him? But the kid is gone. But it's like, these people are fucked up. We don't want the kid to be back to these people. But at the same time, we don't want somebody's kid to be killed at the same. And it's weird. It's weird. It's weird. I don't want to give away too much. I want to give you guys a little bit time to watch this, because it did just come out, I believe, on Friday or Thursday. So I want y'all to have a little bit of time to watch it. Comment on below how you guys liked it. I recommend it to a couple of people, so I want to see how they like it. It's a tough watch at some points, but it's pretty cool. Something that's coming up, I do have a bunch of shows that are coming up that I'm excited for June that I will be watching. I will be trying to review for everybody, or get people on to review with me. Starting with, let me see. I had the dates on here as well. Yes. So June 4th, which I believe is this Friday, we have The Acolyte coming out for Star Wars and Disney Plus, which is basically another Star Wars show, but this one focusing on the Jedi. We didn't really get many Jedi. Well, we got some in Ahsoka, of course. We saw Sabine kind of become a Jedi, and then we saw some kind of Sith Jedis that were kind of fighting, or the main protagonist. In the show, but I think this one kind of centers around multiple Jedi and just kind of what happened to them, or maybe even where they've gone. So I think this may be a future. I don't think this is in the past. I think this is a future. Like it might be like a segment of Jedi. I'm hoping that somehow Grogu gets left with these people so they can become Jedi as well. Starring the lady that plays Trinity in Matrix. Sorry, I don't know her name. I apologize for that. But it should be interesting. Excuse me. And then next we have June 13th. I think it's season 4 of The Boys is coming out. Could be season 3, but I think it's season 4 of The Boys, June 13th. I'm ready for that. The continuation it's building up a long ways, man, especially after the passing of, sorry, I forgot his name, but the actor in Gen V. So I kind of set back the filming of that, but they will go on, and the character is not going to be replaced. But the ending of this season is supposed to go directly into Gen V, and Gen V is supposed to pick up, or this season is supposed to pick up directly after Gen V, I believe. So they're supposed to tie in a lot. So I'm excited to see what happens. Gen V was good. I'm excited to see what happens from the end of The Boys last season. It's gonna be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I'm really excited to see that. Then we have June 16th, a couple of days after that. We have House of Dragons coming back to HBO Max. I think the last we saw that, the High Towers and the forgot the last name of the white hair lady. But their families are at war. Basically, the youngest son got eaten up by the other son of the rival family got eaten up and his son died, so they're at war now. We're gonna see a whole bunch of dragons and probably a whole bunch of deaths. It's gonna be interesting to see, man. I've been watching so much shit. A lot of these names and a lot of the people in the shows, the names get mixed up. You guys can't blame me. But June 16th, House of Dragons season 2 is coming out, and then June 27th, we have The Bear season 3. The Bear season 1 I saw was really good. I haven't seen The Bear season 2 necessarily, so let me go ahead and watch that. And by season 3, I'll probably get that go ahead and get that recorded for y'all and review those shows. I do want to watch The Bear season 2, but I haven't yet. So let me go get that watched before June 27th. But those 4 shows, The Acolyte, The Boys, House of Dragons season 2, and The Bear season 3, all coming out in June, along with a bunch of movies. Bad Boys 4. I forgot there's one more movie that I wanted to see that's coming out in June. I think it may come out June 7th too, but I'll talk more about that this week coming up. But shoot, there's a lot of stuff to watch, a lot of movies in theaters, and I hope you guys are actually really excited to go see them, or get excited for the shows and get excited for the theaters. But it seems like people aren't necessarily too excited about the theaters nowadays because Labor Day or Memorial Day, excuse me, this past weekend. Used to be a weekend where people go into the movies. There's special releases for that weekend in particular, just to get that crowd of people having the weekend and the extra day off to go to the movies and see. Furiosa was this movie's Labor Day release that everybody was supposed to go see. George Miller's 5th installation of the Mad Max series. I did go see it. I did go see it on Sunday, I believe, and maybe last Sunday or Saturday, maybe Saturday. But I did see it. And it was really good, man. I am kind of discouraged. I think it was the lowest box office for a movie in Memorial Day history, I believe, or just in a long time. It only made $32 million for the whole weekend, which was kind of fucked up because I do think the movie was pretty good. From us getting to see what Furiosa represented. If you guys saw Mad Max Fury Road, I didn't see the first 2 with Mel Gibson, or I didn't see the first 3, I should say. But the newer installations, Fury Road, I did see. I really did like a lot. But it did a lot of backstory explaining for the stuff they didn't explain in Fury Road, because Immortal Joe and the Lost Boys, or whatever they call them, the Warrior Boys, they really didn't. They explained them in Fury Road, but in the prequel Furiosa, they did a really good job explaining them as well. And then we had Dementus played by Chris Hemsworth, which was pretty good as well, man. He though people think he just plays Thor in every movie except for was it Extinction? What's the movie where he's shooting up everybody? Extraction, that's the movie. But I think he did well. His fake nose and his little craziness was nuts. I mean, he was just out there with thousands of bikers that ride with him. They just go out there and take whatever they want. You know what I'm saying? We all thought Immortal Joe was the big honcho after seeing Mad Max Free Road, but seeing how Dementus pulled up with thousands of riders and just took shit over was crazy. We saw back in Furiosa's earlier life when she was out there in the green place, where I guess in the middle of the desert is just an oasis with a whole bunch of green stuff or green life and water. She was out there trying to get the peaches, and then she saw some of the Dementus's homies out there killing a horse, which is fucking brutal, chopping a horse's head off and shit like to get horse meat. She goes out there to try to dismantle their bikes so that they can't ride back and tell the people where they came from. But in doing so, she gets swooped up and taken by Dementus's homies, and they start riding across the desert to try to take them back to the land where all the thousands of men were. They don't see women that often, and when they do, they kidnap them and use them as breeders and do weird shit to them. So them kidnapping Furiosa was a big deal. Well, kidnapping in general is a big deal, but you know what I mean. Especially from the green place. Again, you don't want nobody to know where this green place is. They have thousands of people. If they come back to the green place, they'll be able to take them over and kill everybody there. That's the kind of timing they're on, because I guess everybody in Mad Max in Australia at the time was kind of either dead or ruthless individuals. So they kidnap her, take her back, or start to head back to taking her back to where all these people are. But her mom drops into action. Her mom and her friend come back and try to save her. We see them take off on motorcycles, but these people over here got horses. They ain't got the motorcycles like these Badlands people got. So they dip it out. The mom's badass, kills one of them, or there's three total, kills two of them, but can't kill the last one before he's able to get back to the camp with Furiosa. They do catch up to a point where he gets in an accident and he slits his whole throat open. Y'all remember that scene where they take him back to Dementus to tell him where the green place is, but his neck is about to fall off, so he can't really tell. But it was just a crazy ass scene, man. Dementus is crazy as fuck. He lost his family again, so you can see where he's kind of twisted and just kind of like, oh, I just want this daughter, I want her to be my daughter and her to just kind of grow up with me and fill that void of my family being killed. But at the same time, he's a crazy ass motherfucker that just killed her mom. You know what I'm saying? Right in front of her. So she just grows up with this hatred in her heart, chained up by Dementus, until let's see what happens. Oh, Dementus figures out that Immortal Joe exists, where he has a green place of his own, with water, has a station where they have gas and bullets. They're like, oh, so I'm out here in the Badlands. I got 1,000 people with me. Immortal Joe got all these supplies. We about to go take it over because he ain't shit compared to my army. He was just in this mind state that he doesn't really know who Immortal Joe is. So, and he's been running around killing and taking like a Viking so long that he thought there was no way that somebody had forces enough to combat him or even tell him no. In his eyes, he's relieving all these people of dictatorship or being run over by somebody who just has control over everything. But I guess once you become Dementus's kind of minion, he's kind of the same way. He kind of like, he's a smooth talker to try to talk people out of their other people's leadership just to get people to join him. As you can see, it's been working because he has thousands of riders with him. But Immortal Joe wasn't going for that. He the scene where the warrior boy just sprayed the silver stuff in his mouth, that jumped and just killed himself, just showing him how loyal his people were to him. It's nuts. Without going through steps and steps of the whole movie, the movie basically was a big battle between Dementus and his thousands of riders and Immortal Joe and his three stations of warrior boys, the bullet farm, and Gastown, ran by somebody called the People Eater. It was a weird ass dude just rubbing his nipples the whole movie. It was nuts. It was nuts. We saw also just her just kind of be able to escape tyranny, because you know how Immortal Joe keeps girls in a safe to be their breeders with chains, chastity belts on their waist type shit. Yeah. So once Dementus, excuse me, saw that Immortal Joe had all these supplies, they made a deal. He's like, okay, we'll give you some of these supplies if you give me that girl that you got, which was Furiosa. I'll make her my breeder, and then you can have water, you can have gas, you can have some supplies, which is like cabbage and watermelons every so often. if you guys, don't fuck up our supply runs, don't try to attack us, and let business go as usual. So that was Furiousa's opportunity to escape. She gets put in the vault, given to Immortal Joe, and then this weird ass incest baby comes out. Well, he's a grown ass man named Rectus of all names, comes out and tries to kidnap Furiosa as a kid because he likes her and tries to do things to her, which was hella weird. But she's able to escape on some weird shit and just hang over a cliff for hella long. After she hangs off the cliff for a long time, she's able to cut her hair, escape, and join the Warrior Boys to become a mechanic and stays there for years, grows up, becomes a mechanic on the war rig like you see in Fury Road, becomes pretty badass throughout the time, and just kind of hides herself there. It's kind of weird how the whole movie nobody recognizes her as the girl that was brought there as a youngin, but I guess she's grown up and shaved her head, so nobody knows. Not only is it's a girl, but the fact that it's a girl that came from the vault that was publicly dropped off here in front of everybody. It was just kind of weird. It was kind of weirdly set up. But ultimately, we see Furiosa become the badass. We see a whole bunch of relationships she builds throughout. She wants revenge on Dementis for sure for killing her mom in front of her, and also Immortal Joe for trying to, not only make her a slave and a wife of his, a breeder, but also liberate all the other girls and breeders in Immortal Joe's safe, which we saw in Fury Road. But we saw at the end of this that she actually starts doing that at the end of this movie once she actually gets in good and becomes a warrior boy for Immortal Joe after defeating Dementis and killing him and coming back as a warrior that served Immortal Joe in a way that can't be explained. And then in the second one, we see her actually kill Immortal Joe and become the leader of the Citadel. So it all comes full circle. I don't want to, go play by play for y'all. You should go check it out because it obviously didn't get the viewing that it deserved. The tomato rating on it was like certified fresh, like really high. So that itself should just let people know, go see the movie. You know what I'm saying? I guess Memorial Day, I guess people had other things to do. They wanted to get outside and not be in theaters or just be tucked in and doing shit like that. They wanted to spend some time in the sun. But it was a great movie, man. Brought Furiosa full circle, gave a whole, just a whole view of everything. It did perfectly setting up Fury Road. If you were to able to watch that, after, if you didn't see Fury Road before, I think it did a good job of setting up Furiosa. So if you wanted to watch number 2, it starts right from there and you can just watch it right through and enjoy a double feature in a way. So I think that was really cool. I think you guys should see it. Hit a comment at the below. Tell me how you guys felt about it. Maybe we can chop it up a little bit more about it in the comments. You feel me? But yeah, Furiosa, go check that out. It's in theaters now. George Miller did his thing. Old dude, man, like in his 70s too, out there still directing. So go ahead, do him a favor, go check that out. You know what I'm saying? And again, leave some, if you're on Apple Podcasts too, leave 5 stars there, man. I'll do, if you get 200, I think, reviews and 5-star reviews, then they could consider you to be a movie critic. And, I like to critique these movies, get people in here and do a little bit more of an in-depth review of movies. I used to do that a lot, but sometimes I just come through and run through it real fast, let you guys know what's popping. But yeah, it's the Best of Bias podcast. It is your boy. I think that's all we got to say right now. That's all I got to say for you people. Thank you guys for being a part of the podcast today. I know it's kind of late. This is a Sunday. I'm just wrapping up everything throughout the week and trying to get it to you today. It's probably going to be late today too. So Sunday, I'm gonna get another one out to you guys earlier this week. I know I've been lagging a little bit on getting all the videos out, but gosh, work with me, guys. God. But if you guys want to be a part of the podcast, don't be afraid to hit me up. You know what I'm saying? On the Instagram, wherever you find your favorite podcast. Well, you can't really hit me up on there, but hit me up on Instagram, hit me up on the YouTube, comment, DMs, all that stuff. But you guys already know where you can find me at Patrick_Lydell on the Instagram, Patrick SAC_Lydell on the Instagram, Patrick_Lydell on the Snapchat. Anything Best of Bias related, you can find the Best of Bias posted clips on TikTok, on the Instagram, Best of Bias. You can find me there posting a whole bunch of clips on my story about something that we may be talking about during the week's episode, just to keep you guys updated on what's happening. I will get more clips on the actual page. I know that's probably what you guys want to see more so than anything, but yeah, give me a break. You know what I'm saying? AKA is working hard. We're gonna get some promos on there this week, probably. I'm gonna kind of try to push that for them, just kind of try to find something good in here, chop it up and throw it in there for y'all, just so you can have some, get y'all to get some likes and subscribes, and tell your friends about the page and all that stuff too. But for now, it's the Best of Bias podcast, aka thank you so much everybody else that helps in clicks and pushes play on the podcast, listens to the podcast, records for the podcast, or just says best of bias throughout your day, or even has a theme song stuck in their head or something like that. Thank y'all. Have a good day. I'm gonna stop sweating real quick. Y'all enjoy this Sunday, enjoy your weekend. And hey, I'll be back sooner next week, I promise. The Best of Bias podcast. I love y'all. I'm out of here. Where that theme song at?
It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to unite us. It's the best of bias. Best of bias.